Good day. Kia ora, actually. That is how they say it in Maori. So this is going to be my last video, I think, of my trip to Asia. Just a few things that I forgot to say in my other videos. I have my little list here. So yeah. I don't know, I enjoy making those videos because it makes me relive my moments I've lived. And it seems like everything is going so fast. It's almost the end of February. Yeah, I've left Europe almost 3 months ago, and at the same time it feels like it was yesterday, but it also feels like I've been gone for like 2 years. So it's a bit weird, but yeah, besides that, I'm adapting to New Zealand very well, which will be for another video. As far as Asia is concerned, it was an absolutely fantastic trip. I am so happy I did it, and I do not regret my decisions whatsoever. Even the 31-hour trip, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it was just fantastic because it made me think back to my youth. There was like, for example, in Mozambique, we would eat Cadbury chocolate, and in Europe they didn't have that. Well, obviously England does have it because it's produced there, but like Amsterdam, like Holland, France, they didn't have Cadbury, they had Milka. So it was so great to eat that again in Asia, and it's the same for like Stars cereals or Milo, which is like a sort of like Nesquik chocolate powder. And I don't know, it was just so nostalgic, and it felt so good to be back in places where I'd grown up in. Well, I didn't grow up in the countries I went to, but it was similar cultures, similar styles, so I thought that was amazing. What I also thought was very funny is that in each country you go to, you have different brands of beer that you get accustomed to. So in Thailand you have like Chang's, and it's like, yay, let's go for Chang's. And then in Malaysia it's Leo's, even though it's more expensive there. And then Indonesia you have Bintangs. So yeah, so when you see like people with a Bintang shirt, you're like, you've been to Indonesia, haven't you? And they're like, yeah. So that's fun. What else? Oh yes, fantastic, delicious fruits that I had forgotten existed. I didn't forget they existed, but like mangosteens and jackfruit, yeah, all those kinds of fruits. It was so great to eat them again because they're just so good, and it's fruits that don't exist in Europe, even with like import, because I don't know actually why they don't import it there. Maybe there's not enough question for us? I don't know. But yes, that. Sugarcane was also something I had forgotten, and it was just so good. Seriously, like, I don't know. I think Europe should invest more in those little delicious things. Well, yeah, anyway. Yeah, so what I also noticed is you adapt extremely fast. So what hit me the most was when it came to currency, because you get used to a certain currency, so you get used to transforming the certain amount into euros in my case. And then, so my shock was going from Thailand, where you had like hundreds, to Malaysia, and then it went back to like normal, like 50, 20, blah, blah, blah. So I had to calculate back. And the biggest shock was going to Indonesia, because they add like 3 zeros. And I'm not great with zeros or like head math. Pretty sure that's not a term in English, but anyway, you get my point. So I had a lot of trouble in the beginning, like calculating back to how many euros I was wasting by paying 20,000. So to give you an idea, 1 euro is 15,000 Indonesian rupees. So it was hell on earth. But I managed, and then you get accustomed to that, and then you go back to Thailand, and you actually forget the rate, and it's like, oh, how did that go again? I don't know, it's just funny how fast you actually get adapted to something when you're, I don't know, living with it, I guess. So that is something I wanted to share. Also, Molly, my best friend, the love of my life, she asked me what I was doing with my hair. I'm proud to announce that it has been more than a year that I've stopped washing my hair, so I haven't used shampoo. I actually dreamt about using shampoo last night. It was a very scary dream. But I haven't used shampoo in a year, so instead of that, I've been using natural products such as olive oil, black tea, apple cider vinegar. And so during my trip, I mostly used coconut oil when I had it, and I used black tea once or twice, but for the rest, because I just didn't have the products with me or close to me, I just used water. And it is fantastic for your hair. because need I remind you that shampoo is poisonous and it contributes to this consuming, horrifying world. So think about that. It's also good for your hair because my hair falls out less and I have less dandruff and it looks shinier. Okay, maybe today is not a great example, but seriously, shampoo is bad. Choose the natural way, and it's good for the environment as well, so think about that. As for facial stuff, you can use honey and sugar, and I recently discovered that you can use the banana peel as well. So it's great. You eat your banana and you recycle the peel by like rubbing it on your face and leaving it on for like 30 minutes, and then you wash it off. Fun! Yeah. What I also found very interesting comparing the three countries, like looking back on it, was the different symmetries they had. Cimetière. For example, in Malaysia, because there's also a big Chinese influence, they had very big tombs? I don't know, like where you bury your dead. And it was like very pretty, and it was in a round shape, and then like in stairs. I don't know, it was weird, but it was very nice, compared to Indonesia, where it was, well, no, Bali was actually also very good, because it was like, it's Hindi, so they also have like very, I don't know, pretty things added to it. And in Thailand it was more dull, like just like a normal symmetry that we would have in Europe, for example. Which, by the way, if I may note, I think is very bad, because instead of putting stones on the dead, we should plant a tree. Think about it. Instead of having like meter squares filled with stones, we would have trees, which would be prettier and better for the environment. So think about that next time you bury someone. Yeah, so I'm looking at my list now. I thought there was a lot less poverty than what I had remembered. Obviously, there's like some poor people, but again, if you compare it to some other countries I've been to, you don't see that many homeless people on the streets. You actually see less homeless people on the streets than you would in Paris or in Barcelona. So I thought that was very good. And obviously, if you compare it to people that haven't traveled much, this is very dirty. Like, the Asian countries I went to were very dirty compared to Amsterdam, obviously. But again, there's a lot of African countries that are so much dirtier, are a lot more dirty. So yeah, I was actually surprised at how clean it was. Indonesia a bit less than Thailand and Malaysia, to be fair. I don't know what that is due to. Maybe because it's a bigger country or there are more people. I don't know, I haven't researched it. But yeah, I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised by it all. And I don't know if you remember, but I said that Indonesia is a male-dominated culture. And in Thailand, it's more the women that sort it all out. So like every time you like get into a bus, blah, 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 it's the women that are like taking lead and like in charge of everything, which I thought was a very interesting contrast. As for the contrast within those countries with regards to the dogs, so you have a lot of dogs in Thailand, and some of them are very aggressive because there's so many stray dogs that they're not necessarily treated well, but they're not rejected by society in any way. Whereas in Malaysia and Indonesia, which are Muslim countries, dogs are rejected by society because dogs are seen as something filthy in the Muslim religion. So on Gili Air or Gili T, for example, because it's such a small island, there is like not one dog to be found. Whereas on Lombok and Bali, obviously it's so big that you can't really keep them out. So they do have dogs, not that many. And Malaysia even less. And I don't know if I had mentioned it before, but it's a game for them to like kill those dogs because dogs are filthy and should not exist or whatever. So yeah, that was pretty much the things I had forgotten to say, I think. And a bit to like wrap up my whole trip. I would definitely recommend it to anyone, and a lot of people are actually doing it now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone has questions about anything, let me know. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna forget some stuff. Oh, I did. Okay, I'm looking at my little list. Fun fact, I had forgotten that in Mozambique, for example, we used to have a water tank in our garden, and that was normal. Or we used to have power cuts, and that was also normal. And then this relates back to the adapting thing. We moved to Holland, and you kind of forget those things. And then when I went to Asia, I had a power cut, and I was like so excited. I was like, oh my god, I miss this so much. It throws me back to Mozambique when I was screaming in my bath, waiting for my parents to bring me candles. Like, the people around me were like, why is there no power? I want light. Well, I was just enjoying it so much. And in Malaysia, I looked over to the neighbor's garden and I saw a water tank, and that's when I realized that things that were so normal for us in Mozambique, or even in Uganda, you tend to forget about those simple things because, yeah, you just live in another country, it seems very obvious, but at the same time, it's difficult for people in Holland to imagine what a water tank is in a garden and why you would even have that. And I don't know. It's like I'm having a mini identity crisis in a way. But about that, I will tell you later. Because I want to eat now, I'm hungry, and I have been talking for 11 minutes. And as I've said before, I'm trying to reduce my time. Ooh, one more thing. They also had cafard. Cockroaches. Yes. I had not missed those because I hated them back in Mozambique. But it was nice to see animals again that I used to have and not in Holland. Anfie crushed one of them by accident. And then she almost cried because she felt so bad. And there was this French guy sitting next to us, and he was looking at this whole scene, and he was like, what is up with her? So that was very funny. So that was basically it. Go Asia. Go traveling. Go do whatever you want, because life is short and life is great. And yeah. That is that. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.